Hey man, let's go player by player and let's tier list the Cleveland Browns 2023 roster as of week 10. It's been 10 weeks. We've had enough time to gauge what the Browns have and what they don't have on this roster. So let's go player by player and tier list this Browns roster. I'm ready. I hope you guys are too. Let's hop right into it. All right, so getting started, let's unveil these tiers. We got the S tier, which is the All Pro tier, the A tier, which is the Pro Bowl tier. We got the B tier, which is the good tier. We got the C tier, which is the cool tier. The D tier, which is the mid to below average tier. And then we got the E tier, which is the group of guys that I'm going to speed through that I just think have been on the field enough for me to give really an opinion about them, or also really just haven't been given a fair chance. So let's just start off with the E tier. Let's get into this all. All right, so in the D tier, we got AJ Green, we got Jack Conklin, we got Luke Whippler, we got DTR, Siaki Ika, and Isaiah McGuire. Now, Ika, McGuire, Conklin, Green, those are guys that just have not been on the field enough for me to really give an opinion about them. Siaki Ika's really just been redshirted. Same thing with Isaiah McGuire, but I think they could be good developmental pieces in the future. Obviously, Jack Conklin has been injured, but I want to talk about DTR because I feel like DTR gets way too much flack. I think people don't give him some slack enough because if you think about that Ravens game, man, Deshaun Watson decided to sit himself out of that game at the last minute. So when you're a rookie QB in that situation, when you're just thrown into the fire, that's really hard to deal with, especially when the game plan was not built to your success. So as a rookie quarterback, there is no possible way that any of us really expected the Browns to win that game with DTR playing well because he just wasn't. It was not a good situation for him. So I'll fully judge DTR when he's in a good situation. Hopefully, we don't really have to do that because we have Deshaun Watson. But that's my take on DTR. I don't feel like people give him enough slack just because of the fire he was thrown into in that Ravens game. But now let's move on to the D tier, which is the mid to below average tier. And everybody in this tier, we got Jedrick Wills, PJ Walker, David Bell, Marquise Goodwin, Harrison Bryant, Michael Dunn, Cedric Tillman, James Prochet, Mike Ford Jr., James Hudson. We got Jordan Atkins. And then we got, I think his name is Jerron Christian, the dude who stepped in at tackle for us in replacement of DeJuan Jones in that Ravens game. He had a pretty nice PFF grade in that game, so that's why he's in the D tier. I was kind of impressed with his game, so I'll consider him as kind of like that mid player. He played pretty well in that Ravens game, but hasn't played enough to be anywhere above D. But man, let's start with David Bell, Marquise Goodwin, Harrison Bryant, Cedric Tillman. They're just guys who really have not really done enough in the past game for me to put them in the C tier. I definitely want to see more from Marquise Goodwin as a deep threat. I just don't think we've gotten everything we wanted to out of him as that deep guy. But I think as the offense progresses, which I think it will with Deshaun Watson, I think things will start to smooth out. Let's talk about Jedrick Wills, though. I'm not as hard on Jedrick Wills as everybody else is. That's something you guys got to understand first and foremost. But I do understand that he has been very underwhelming. The dude was drafted in the first round, 10th pick. He's just been too inconsistent, especially this year. Now, before he got hurt, I thought that Jedrick Wills, as a pass protector, he's always a good run protector, but as a pass protector, that's where his problem is. But in the games leading up to his injury, he actually looked pretty good. I'm not going to deny that. So he was progressing as a pass protector. So I think that kind of upgraded him to mid as a tackle. But no doubt, we have to see Jedrick Wills kind of improve when he comes back in this season, or he could kind of cause his team to fall on the offensive line. He's got to become more consistent. PJ Walker, I think it's pretty clear he don't belong anywhere above the C tier. Let's just be honest. The dude threw one touchdown, 5 interceptions in the game he played, in the games that he played. There's no way he should be above the D tier. But we have to put some respect on PJ Walker's name just because of what he was able to do to get us to a 2-1 record when he started. Obviously, he was a reason kind of lost at Seattle game, but he was kind of a good game manager in that 49ers game. He was a good game manager in that Colts game and made clutch plays when needed in that Colts game. So I will give PJ Walker his props for that. Now let's move on to the C tier, which is the cool tier. All right, so in the C tier, we got Elijah Moore. We got Nick Harris, who I've been really impressed with in the packages that the Browns have had him in. We got Alex Wright, who, whenever he's been in the game, he's been a really good run defender and has been able to get into the backfield as a pass rusher. We got Rodney McLeod, who I've been incredibly impressed with. Whenever we've asked Rodney McLeod to step up and make plays when an injury has happened, especially that Ravens game and the Bengals game, Rodney McLeod has done his job. You're never calling Rodney McLeod's name because of a bad thing, and that's all we can ask from him. I thought at the beginning of the season, our safety room was set, especially because he was the backup safety and was going to be up there sometimes. Love what I've seen from Ronnie McLeod and Cam Mitchell when he's been in there before he got injured in the Seattle game and in the Cardinals game. He looked really good, man. Andrew Berry knows how to draft some corners. I'll tell you that. And then Pierre Strong is a guy who I think is very explosive. And when he really gets back and really healthy, really think he needs to be in the mix. Now, Elijah Moore is a guy who, if he just got targeted more and was able to fill up the stat sheet more, would be in the B tier. But I'm cool with Elijah Moore because let's be honest, the dude gets separation at a very high rate. The dude is an incredible, impeccable route runner. He gets separation all day, everybody. So there's no way he should have been in the D tier, knowing the separator that he is. And that's what we kind of brought him in here to do. Be that separator because we didn't have many of them aside from Amari Cooper last year. We now have two great route runners. We just want to see the ball in Elijah Moore's hands more. And when that happens, which it will because this passing offense is about to take off with the more reps Deshaun Watson gets and the more these guys really gain momentum, Elijah Moore is going to gain some more targets in his hands, everybody. So he's in the C tier. I think he'll be in the B tier by the end of the season. Now let's move on to the B tier, the good tier. Now listen, there's a lot of guys in this tier because look, newsflash, the Browns just have a lot of good players. We got Deshaun Watson, David Njoku, Martin Emerson, Jordan Elliott, Zadarius Smith, Kareem Hunt, Greg Newsome, Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris, Anthony Walker, Maurice Hurst, DeJuan Jones, Taki, Jerome Ford, Juwan Thornhill, and Agbu Okoronkwo. Now, you know who I want to start with. That's Deshaun Watson, everybody. Now, block out the national media noise, and you'll see the truth. Is that Deshaun Watson is 4-1 as the Browns starter, and the only bad game that he had was that loss versus the Steelers. The Bengals game, Deshaun Watson, although he should have been really more enticed to take some more short intermediate throws and not kind of force things, and could have been better in that Bengals game, he still had a solid game. I liked what I saw from Deshaun Watson outplaying Joe Burrow in that game and leading the Browns and doing what he needed to get them the victory. If you watch the film, you will like some of what you saw from Deshaun Watson in that game. And you're definitely going to like what you saw in the Titans game, in the Cardinals game, because that's a game where he showed he can sling it. Deshaun Watson progressively throughout every game that he has played, I feel like, has done what we have all asked him to do. Be poised in the pocket, take things where they are, don't force deep stuff, and take the short intermediate throws and allow yourself to get comfortable and allow the short and intermediate throws to open up the deep passing game, which he did in the Titans game perfectly, which he did in the Cardinals game perfectly. Don't even get me started about the Ravens game in the second half. Incredible. 14 for 14, 134 passing yards, one touchdown, one game-winning drive. Incredible. Deshaun Watson, as a passer with his mechanics and decision-making, has gotten better each week. And I just think it's going to get better from here with the momentum and with what he showed us he can do. So Deshaun Watson, 4-1 as a starter, getting better every game, has gotten better as a guy just learning how to be patient, take the big plays when they're there, and just taking the intermediate stuff when they're there. Tom Brady was famous for dinking and dunking a lot until he could really get that deep play. I think that's what Deshaun Watson needs to continue to lean into, and I think he's really done better at that week by week. David Njoku, the past few weeks has looked incredible. Martin Emerson, although he had two pretty rough games versus the Ravens and both of our matchups versus them, is a borderline Pro Bowler, is one of the best cornerbacks in the league when it comes to least amount of passer rating allowed when he's targeted and also least amount of completion percentage, I believe. Him and Denzel Ward are in the top 4 of players in that category. Jordan Elliott, man, he has rebounded Jim Schwartz, man, he has transformed this guy, man. Jordan Elliott looks incredible this year. Zadarius Smith, although he doesn't have a ton in the sack department, looks good. Kareem Hunt, always scoring touchdowns. Great short yardage back. Him and Jerome Ford, who's also in the good tier, I think make a good Browns running back duo. I have a video out about the Browns running back room that you guys should go check out. But I think Jerome Ford is such a good big play back. And when you lean into him as an inside zone runner, you can really see what he can do when he gets good blocks, is able to kind of maneuver through the spaces and holes that you get him. Very agile, speedy, quick, and just look, when you give him the opportunity, he can make the big plays. Same thing with Agbo Okoronkwo. He's been great on the defensive line, man. Look, the Browns got 3 great edge rushers. Agbo has been everything and more than I expected from him when we signed him this offseason, because he's doing everything right. He's a great guy getting his hands on the ball at the line of scrimmage. He's a great guy when it comes to getting pressure and sacks. And he's been an impeccable run defender, man. Just incredible. Dalvin Tomlinson is a guy who people were worried about couldn't get pressure on the quarterback before the season started and when we signed him. I thought everybody was crazy when they thought like that. Dalvin Tomlinson, 49ers game, got tons of pressure. In that Arizona Cardinals game, he got 3 sacks. The dude can rush the passer and he can stop the run. Shelby Harris, do the same thing. He has a good PFF grade. Maurice Hurst is a top run defender, top pass rusher among defensive tackles. According to PFF, I believe he's top 10. Andrew Berry, what a masterclass he had this offseason. But really, with that Maurice Hurst signing, seeing the potential he had, Maurice Hurst and all of the Browns defensive tackles have looked great this season. Juwan Thornhill's looked good. DeJuan Jones has been better than I expected Jack Conklin to even be this year if he were to keep going. DeJuan Jones, dang near the best tackle in his draft class, and was drafted in the 4th round. I mean, the dude, man, he needs to improve as a run blocker, but he's been good there. He's been incredible as a pass blocker and has done it versus guys who aren't elite and guys who are elite. And then Taki Anthony Walker, that linebacker room, people were kind of worried about it before the season. I didn't understand why. Anthony Walker, Taki have been incredible this year. Now let's move on to the Pro Bowl tier, the A tier. That's the good tier. The Browns have a lot of good players. But how many Pro Bowl players do they have? How many All-Pro players do they have? Let's get to those tiers, the A and S tier. All right, the A tier, everybody. Amari Cooper, Wyatt Teller, Ethan Pocic. We got JOK and Grant Delpit. Now, Teller, Pocic, man, incredible. Teller, at the beginning of the season, worried me a little bit as a pass protector, but he's gotten better as the season has gone along. We already know he's a great run defender. Wyatt Teller and Ethan Pocic, too. He's looked like a top 5, maybe even top 3 center in the league this year. Bill Callahan always doing his thing. Those two, in my mind, are Pro Bowlers and are in the A tier as of post week 10, everybody. Grant Delpit, he's really done everything you could ask him to do at safety this year. The dude has, I think, the most defensive stops among safeties in the league this year. I think I saw that from the Browns PFF page on Twitter. The dude is a good run defender. The dude gets his hands on balls. He's played better in coverage than he ever has in his career. The dude's getting in the backfield every play. He's a sure tackler. Grant Delpit, man, him and JOK have been doing it all. Don't even get me started about JOK. Getting in the backfield as a pass rusher and a pass defender. JOK, I think among linebackers, has the most stops, I think run stops, just stops, period, in the NFL. So I believe JOK, with everything he's been able to do this year and just being a versatile linebacker, is a Pro Bowl player this year. Now, Amari Cooper, man, I can't really say everything I want about him in this video because I'm going to make a video dedicated to Amari Cooper just because I'm so impressed with what he's been able to do this year, man. He is a security blanket for whoever he plays with. For PJ Walker, for Deshaun Watson, he has become this team's deep threat. And who thought that would happen? Like, the dude has been able to connect on deep passes from PJ Walker, and we know what he's been able to do as a deep threat with Deshaun Watson. He's top 5 in the league in yards per catch. The dude is getting big chunks. He's a security blanket on 3rd down, and in big game situations. We already know what kind of route runner he is, but Amari Cooper has been that guy, and he's too underrated, man. He's a Pro Bowler, top 5 in AFC receiving yards. Amari Cooper, dang near every game, getting 100 yards. He's a Pro Bowler, A tier. Now let's move on to the S tier. Who's our all pro guys? Let me dedicate some things to Nick Chubb, man. That's why he's in this S tier right here. I know you guys see it. I got to pay my respects to Nick Chubb. Look, man, I miss you. Nick Chubb, I miss you, man. I can't wait to see you in 2024. Just imagine what team the Browns would be with Nick Chubb. I just wanted to pay my respects to Nick Chubb by putting him in the S tier. Not only that, but we know dang well if he was playing, he'd be the best running back again in the league. We know what the deal is with Nick Chubb. So I just wanted to pay my respects to Nick Chubb by having him in the S tier. But look, Myles Garrett in the S tier, Joel Bitonio in the S tier. I think Joel Bitonio self-explanatory. And then Denzel Ward, who I'm also going to get to. But Myles Garrett, dude is defensive player of the year, but dude could also be in the MVP conversation. I think he's a legit top 5 MVP candidate. He is the anchor of the Browns defense, man. He's doing it in every way possible while getting triple teamed every play. Him and Micah Parsons are 1 and 2 in terms of pass rush win rate and pass rush, I think, double team rate also. He's a great run stopper. He's top 5, I believe, in run stop win rate among defensive ends, and is also top in the league among defensive end and pressures, man. Myles Garrett gets it done in every way. I think with Myles Garrett, it's just self-explanatory. He's an all-pro player. He's defensive player of the year. I'll have a video out about it soon. And look, Myles Garrett, like I said before, he's Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett. He's going to be Myles Garrett, and he's going to carry us for the rest of the year. Denzel Ward. Now, some people might put him in a Pro Bowl tier, but I think there are not, this year in 2023, there are not 4 cornerbacks better than Denzel Ward, the Warden. The dude is an incredible run defender. I think that flies under the radar. He gets into the backfield so quick, but the dude is just so good in coverage, man. Denzel Ward is too good in coverage. I believe he has 2 or 3 interceptions. But the dude, man, look, he's one of the top cornerbacks in the league in terms of lowest completion percentage allowed when you throw his way. I think he's top 3 or top 4. He may be 1. But yeah, Denzel Ward, man, I don't think there's 4 cornerbacks better than him this year. I believe he has proved that he's played like a top 3, top 5, top 4 corner in the league this year. Denzel Ward, in my mind, with his versatility and everything he's been able to do, is an all-pro player, everybody. But you tell me what you think down in the comment section below. This is my tier list for this 2023 Browns team in terms of their roster. Post week 10, we're going to come back to this week 13 and update it. So you guys stay tuned for that. But this is the Browns roster tier list, everybody. This has been Malik Hicks, a.k.a. the Ranker of Dogs by the Sword, signing off, everybody. I want to say peace out and see you on the other side. Peace.